Everywhere I look, there are people losing their minds over the recent scoring outbursts in the NBA. Some hold it up as the shining light that proves each generation is more skilled than the last. Others detest the evil spirit held within the commissioner and somehow LeBron's basketball of lies. But who's right? And what is it that they're actually right about? Well, I'm Mr. B, and you've entered the three. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, and to the newcomers, welcome to my channel. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more great content. Thank you. Chapter 1, Lukas Big Night. I fully expect this video to get a bit of hate. Who am I kidding? This is YouTube, and I know there will be hate for what I'm about to say, but I ask that you watch it in full before you decide how to comment. I want to start with Lukas Big Night. Friday, January 26th versus the Atlanta Hawks. Now, there's no doubt in my mind of the talent every player in the NBA, that includes Luka, possesses, and he scored multiple fantastic baskets on this night. And overall, it was an impressive feat. But as I watched the game, I couldn't help but notice the other details in his game. And when I hear people throwing his name around MVP awards for this season, these things just become more and more noticeable. The guy, for all of his offensive prowess, is lazy as they come. So, I've done the opposite of what I saw everyone else do. They all made videos of him scoring 73, but to prove my point and eliminate the hate some will no doubt cast on me, I want to examine what else he did during this 73-point offensive masterpiece. Pun intended. So, grab the popcorn and let's roll the tape. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, and I won't super dissect all of the plays because there would be repetition. My biggest issue with this game is the Matador defense. It's not even mediocre, which I could accept. This man literally plays zero defense if he can get away with it. Let's look at one play in particular to really drive the point home. This is a perfect example of his lazy defensive effort. He sits in the top of the key and does some sort of defensive directing, but plays no actual defense. I normally would not call this a fake effort, but we catch him doing it over and over and over and over all night. At one point, the announcer calls him out for the lack of defense.
Here come the Hawks. DJ will shoot two. Doncic didn't even attempt to guard him on that dribble.
You get the point. It occurs so much, it really is an if I had a nickel moment. Let it be known, I don't think this diminishes his offensive prowess. I am talking about the other half of the game, which is defense. When we talk MVP, I think we should be talking both sides of the ball, at least where effort is concerned. I know you can argue James Harden, Steph Curry, and Steve Nash as an example in terms of defensive win shares, which is a player statistic that attributes credit to players based on their ability to prevent opposing teams from scoring. A player's GWS is calculated by estimating the number of points allowed per 100 defensive possessions. This is a complex calculation involving other statistics, including minutes played, league points per possession, and defensive rating, among others. All that to say, in their MVP years, ranked amongst guards that started, Harden ranked 49th in 2018, Curry 10th in 2015, and 11th in 2016, Nash 92nd in 2005, 69th in 2006. At the time of this recording, Luka is currently 84th. Not too shabby, although he finished 107th last year, so we will see. In comparison, another guard in the MVP conversation for this year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. My favorite guard for the past 2 seasons. The man is next up, I promise this. At the time of this recording, he is ranked 16th in defensive win shares. Just for fuel to the fire, here's how they stack up stat-wise. They are pretty similar offensively, Shai shooting much better percentages in less minutes, and more games played, i.e. availability, with fewer turnovers. Doncic clearly ahead with rebounds and assists, and averaging 3 points more than Shai, which, once you pass the 30-point mark, is impressive. All things considered though, I will take efficiency and availability over a few more points and assists. I'm just saying. Chapter 2, the league or the players. Now, I'll admit, I love basketball, but it's not a blind love. I can't turn away and ignore how the league brought us to this point where looking at a 73-point game ends up showing you how bad the player actually was on that very same night. Without the whistle, this game would have went another direction completely. Consider for a moment, DeJounte Murray, the Hawks' second leading scorer on the season, did not shoot his first free throw until 1:39 in the fourth.
Luka's first foul of the night. 2 big free throws for DeJounte Murray.
Yes, indeed.
First time he's been to the line tonight.
So he wasn't fouled in the act, huh? Couple that with these next few plays. Crazy tech closing game.
We want to show you what happened. Garrison Matthews with the towel puts his toe on the line, and that got him a technical foul.
Come on.
With the play at the other end of the court.
Sometimes you gotta let little stuff like that go. I mean, you can't. Why would you call that?
Oh, man.
Murray doesn't get continuation. Calls a block, a goaltend. Luka falls, not from a trip, and slides with the ball in his hand. Bay fouled and should get 3 free throws. I mean, the comeback was never in the referee's cards. Anytime there was a hint of a run, it was quelled by the whistle or lack thereof. That whistle, it feels like we could never escape it in the NBA. I think players like Luka, Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, and Jason Tatum are phenomenal talents, but I hate they have adapted their games to play to the whistle. It proves their basketball IQ is very high, but at what cost? Because high or not, there are players with the same level IQ that do not try and abuse the system like the players I mentioned. Now, I will say that Butler is one of my favorite players of all time, and it's not because he can score. That's really more of a recent trend of his. I enjoy watching him be a two-way assassin. He starts on defense, and with or without that whistle, he's going to get his numbers. In comparison, Luka at the same height would, well, we just don't know, because we saw Butler play without the luxury or manipulation of the whistle, and he was good. Not all-star good, but he also wasn't in his prime, so there's wiggle room to have the conversation. Luka has always played to the whistle. We saw Chris Paul learn how to rip through a defender's arms. Prior to that, he still did numbers. We saw LeBron learn how to contort his body like a wrestler to sell the call. Again, prior to that, he still put up numbers. With guys like Luka and Tatum, there was no before. They saw a system in place and embedded themselves into the culture of the NBA, which is why the focus for me is less about the player and more about the league's culture and the direction the product is heading. This is why I can enjoy watching some of Luka's spectacular plays. The man doesn't make the rules. Unfortunately, he uses them to his benefit, like a lot of other players. So, no shots just at Luka. I'm just using you as an example, my friend. You still are pretty phenomenal. Chapter 3, How the NBA Responds. It's March now, and I gave this video a little time to decant because I don't like coming to rushed conclusions. I started this video almost a month ago and just let it sit on my hard drive as I put the pieces together. And after the NBA All-Star Weekend, I decided enough was enough. The league and its unwillingness to deliver a good product is shameful. Even Larry Bird, that's right, Larry Legend, couldn't take it.
Now, the one thing I would really like to see is they play hard tonight in this All-Star game. I think it's very important. The best players in the world together, you got to compete, and you got to play hard, and you got to show the fans how good they really are.
I mean, this is one of the best players of all time. Someone who has been where the current NBA players are right now. This isn't crazed fan talk, but rather an appeal for sanity. A competitive league is worth asking for. A player has scored 50 plus points 15 times this year. But my biggest problem is the how. That's on the players giving effort on both sides of the ball, and the league for how they officiate the game. I think the rant is over. I just had to let this one out. I appreciate all of the support, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, I haven't watched the Embiid 70-point game, and I was thinking about doing a similar reaction to it. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys would like to see. That's it for me. Mr. B, signing out. Peace.